My name is Wendy West. I'm with the University of California Cooperative Extension. And along with me today is Scott Onetto, also with UC Cooperative Extension, and Leanne Mila with the El Dorado County Department of Agriculture. So I'm going to start with a general discussion about yellow star thistle, its biology, and mechanical and cultural controls. And you might wonder, why do I really need to know about yellow star thistle biology? All I know is I hate the plant. Why do I really have to know any more about its growth phases and its life cycle? Well, today, as you hear each of the other speakers talk about other control methods, it's going to be very key to understand the different growth stages of yellow star thistle, because timing with all of these control methods are very key. So just a little bit about a background about yellow star thistle to get started with. So it is native to Turkey, Eurasia area. It was introduced here in 1850s. It is an annual plant, meaning it reproduces by seed. So each year new plants grow. And it's got some really great tricks, as you can probably guess, knowing how hard it is to control this plant. One of its best tricks is it produces an immense amount of seed. Large plants can produce over 100,000 seeds. And the other trick is once those seeds hit the ground, they can lay dormant for 2 to 4 years, just waiting for the right circumstance in order to germinate that year. So if it's a dry couple years, those seeds can just hang out. And then when rains hit and things are a little bit more optimum, they can germinate up to 4 years after they hit the ground. So that's what's called the seed bank, something that we're going to talk about several times today. So we have over 14 million acres in California, and of course the detriments of yellow star thistle: it reduces the value and carrying capacity of rangeland, chokes out all the other good forage plants. It reduces and consumes a lot of groundwater. We're going to talk a little bit about its biology and how it consumes groundwater away from other good plants. It reduces our recreational values by choking out trails. The plant is also, all parts of the plant are also toxic to horses. Generally, horses will not eat yellow star thistle unless they have limited other food available. They generally won't seek it out. But once they start to eat it, they actually start to develop a taste for it, and then eventually it can cause a neurological problem with horses. So that's a biggie, obviously, in our area. Yellow star thistle degrades animal and plant habitat, again, by forming a monoculture and choking out all the other good plants and reducing the plant diversity. So if you go home with nothing else today about the biology, this is probably the most important slide. You're going to hear all of us talk about these different growth forms of yellow star thistle. The first one is the seedling stage, and I'm going to pass around a bowl of yellow star thistle. You're going to see some of those small seedlings with little rounded leaves. This is the stage that it's at in most of the county right now. So that's the seedling stage. It generally, after the first rains in the fall, you'll start to see seedlings. The second stage is the rosette stage, bottom photograph. It starts to have a little bit less roundness to the leaf, building more of a leaf structure. And then that third stage, the bolting stage, you're going to hear us talk a lot about today. That's when it actually throws up that big, thick stem and just before it flowers. So that's the bolting stage. And then, of course, the yellow flower, the flowering stage, once it develops the spine. And once the flowers are yellow, once you start to that yellow hits, those seeds are viable within a few days after that yellow flower shows up. So that's an important stage to understand also. So yellow star thistle loves sun. It doesn't like shade or competition. So we're going to talk a little bit about control methods that can aid there. And it has a really extensive deep root system. Each year, obviously it's an annual, so the roots don't stay for the next year because it's growing again. The root system this time of year, the plants are really small, but all the work that's happening is down under the roots. Those roots are growing like crazy right now. It established the root system early because then once the weather starts to dry out, the ground starts to dry out, then that root system has the ability to pull water lower in the soil than many of the other plants that have more shallow root systems. So that's another one of its really good tricks. So it can grow down to 6 feet down to utilize that water lower down. Pretty impressive for an annual plant. Another trick during that bolting stage that we talked about, where that big thick stem comes up, it has a real waxy gray coating which reflects light, so it can tolerate the heat that we have in our area. It actually reflects some of that light. And it has winged stems that actually act as radiators. Now that's a pretty good trick to keep itself cool. So it really does thrive in our hot and dry conditions in California. So how does yellow star thistle spread? Many times it spreads in fill or gravel material in a roadway or a disturbed site, a building site, for example. The seeds can be brought in on gravel you might bring to your property. Seeds can be carried on equipment. Seeds stuck under a wheel well in a pickup that's come from an infested area to a non-infested area. Seeds really only blow a few feet away from the plant. So they're not going to blow a long ways. So you can stop that battle with your neighbor about the seeds blowing back and forth if it's very far. They're going to fall fairly close to the plant. And of course, animals can spread the seeds, birds, deer walking through, the seeds stick to them, and off they go to the next pasture. Wanted to mention a project that we have, just real briefly. We have a 14-county project that is drawing the line to stop the spread of yellow star thistle any farther into the Sierras. It's called our Yellow Star Thistle Leading Edge Stop the Spread Project. We're drawing the line across 14 counties in the foothills. We're eradicating plants that we find east of that line and trying to knock that line back. We have a lot of yellow star thistle in California, but we still have a lot of land to protect from yellow star thistle invasion. And I can assure you, it will grow at 9,000 feet. We used to think, oh, it won't grow in the mountains. It does. So we're working to identify that line across the 14 counties, coordinate our efforts and our dollars to stop that spread, and eradicating those outliers east of the line. And it's really giving us an opportunity to focus our yellow star thistle control, because it's pretty frustrating, as you all know, in trying to control all of the yellow star thistle, but giving us a focused effort to protect the Sierras has been really helpful. Lots of agencies and landowners cooperating on that project. And it really is early detection and rapid response, meaning east of that line, we have a chance to get to those plants, get them eradicated, and knock that line back. Ultimately, saving us tax dollars and private property costs. So we're connecting the dots, literally, across the region and working to eradicate east.